We always keep saying, data is the new oil, data is the new currency, data is the new electricity. That's become a cliche now, of course. But I have a slightly different take, at least from an India perspective, Imran. From an India perspective, every 4 months this changes. 4 months back, if you had asked me what is the new oil, I would have said not data is the new oil because tomato is a new oil, very expensive. And about 6 months ago, we had onion prices going up. So onion becomes a new oil then for India. So things keep changing in India. But having said that, but still, this 4-letter word has gained so much of traction, so much of potential, right? To the extent where last week, on the 10th of January, I was in Hyderabad and I was in a fireside chat with, I was the moderator, fireside chat with Krishnamachari Srikanth, Chika, And one of the things which I was probing was the role of technology, data and analytics in the game of cricket. And cricket has changed so much, so significantly it has changed. While Chika, his usual style, Chika Krishnamachari, he's very spontaneous. Right? He did acknowledge that technology, data and analytics has started playing a very major role in the field of cricket. But he still felt that it is that individual's capability, that is what matters. And of course, he had his own kind of views on that. So this, the theme of this discussion is all about this convergence of cloud, data, and AI. So I call this as a very powerful cocktail of technologies. And that's precisely what we will be kind of debating on this. And for people who were here listening to my keynote address in the afternoon, the first session, I was talking about the prerequisites for ensuring that you're able to derive, leverage maximum value from data and analytics, from digital technologies. And there are quite a few things that you can't take it for granted, but you will have to work on a lot of things to ensure that you're able to derive benefit from data, cloud, and AI. And if you really look at the theme of this panel discussion, we say cloud, convergence of data, cloud, and AI, and as a spotlight for driving differentiation. And the moment I read that, this is very close to my heart, because I talk of today the Dashavatar of a CIO today. There are 10 different roles. In fact, there are 22 different roles I talk of, but initially I started off with 10 because the role of the CDO or a CIO is also kind of evolved over a period of time. And towards the end in my employment, though I was the chief digital officer, I started referring to myself as the chief differentiation officer. The reason is technology was playing a major role, and my chairman and my board, they were asking me, VN, how do we ensure that we use data and analytics as a differentiation? Because when we were launching our new electric vehicle company, I was part of a few investor meetings. And the discussion veered around the investors asking, how are you making data as a differentiation? How will you use data for driving differentiation with those unique experiences that you're going to deliver to the customer? So unofficially, from a chief digital officer, I started referring to myself as a chief differentiation officer, right? Because there is so much you can do, and if the management really believes in it and has a lot of conviction, you can use technology, data, analytics as the differentiator. So we have a very eminent panel of speakers here. So let's kind of hear from them on how are they leveraging technology and how is this convergence of this cocktail really working. Not in any particular order, let me start with Jitesh, because Jitesh comes from a company called Wheelseye. And you won't have missed this company because that sticker is there on all the trucks in India. Yeah, man. Okay. So the sticker is there in all the trucks, right? So, they are basically aggregators, load aggregators. So since I also come from the automotive industry, I just want to start off with saying, Jitesh, how is technology playing a role, right? Are those differentiation I was talking of, in automotive we were saying that mileage is a differentiation, KMPL. Tire life in a truck was a differentiator. Are those changing because of technology today, and customers are also changing? They are looking at a different set of differentiators. They want remote services, they want digital solutions and so on. How is it panning out in your industry?
So a little bit about Wheels Eye. So we started in 2017 with a vision to empower fleet owners of India. When we started off, we realized that SaaS offering, some data on this industry is like 80% of the fleet owners are small fleet owner in this industry. And that number, so it's a very big number. So these trucker community, they belong to tier 3, tier 2 towns of India. SaaS used to be a luxury back then. With the advent of data, cloud, AI, and of course the affordability of this stack, we are able to democratize that SaaS offering to those small fleet owners. That is one of the change we have seen and able to bring in the country. So since they have used to SaaS product, now like they have become more demanding. They want to ultimately they want efficiency. They want to compete with the big players. So trucker sitting in tier 3 also has aspired to work for a shipper or consigner sitting in tier 1, let's say Amazon or delivery kind of. So earlier that access was not there. So now that has become possible. So the demand has changed from just a tracking services. They want more visibility. They want to stop pilferage. They want more control over their asset, more asset utilization. So yeah, so we have seen changes, and customer has become more demanding, and that is like good situation.
Okay.
Today. Yeah.
Let's go now. That's a logistics industry. Kuldeep, you come from the healthcare industry, and I truly believe that there are 3 industries which are poised for major disruption, riding on these new technologies, and healthcare is one of them. Healthcare, education, and the legal and judiciary, or whatever you call it, which is by and large, I would say, untouched today by technology. How is technology playing a role in the healthcare? What are those interesting, how do you extrapolate the future of technology?
Thank you for having me here. So I've been into healthcare for last 8 years now. I've been into technology in part for much longer, but in healthcare, it's been last 8 years. So if we go back like 10 years, we used to go to a pharmacy to actually buy medicine. We used to go to a lab to get our basic tests done, like even a sugar test. We had to visit a lab. For conducting, let's say, a pre-insurance policy health checkup, again, we had to visit a center where those tests would be done. So how this healthcare landscape has changed in last 8 to 10 years. So I joined 1mg in 2015. So around 2013, 14, some of the biggest changes in Indian healthcare started to happen. Like the transition, the movement towards e-health started. When 1mg came, Practo came. So 1mg in the e-pharmacy segment, Practo in the e-consult or e-appointment booking or e-hospital segment. Then many other startups came in the telehealth segment. And even in the diagnostic space, players like Healthians and some others, Dr. Lal, SRL, they came up. And they started digitizing this whole medical experience. So with the emergence of these players, which were like very small scale startups back then, which now have become unicorns and affecting lives of millions of patients, the whole landscape has changed. Now the movement is towards your smart watches, your let's say portable ECG machines, and IoTs. Let's say a temperature sensor and GPS sensor enabled kit, sample collection kit, which can go to a remote place and monitor the entire journey of the sample, of a blood sample, to the lab, whether the sample is still viable or not, it has been kept in the right temperature or not. So with the digital emergence of digital technology, a lot has changed. The end user experience in healthcare has changed considerably.
Okay. I have a common question for Anju, Anuj, and Vishwa. In terms of what are the trends that you are seeing in the customer, in your customer landscape, and how is this cloud data AI really playing out, and what is it that you are doing? We can start with Anju.
Yeah. So, am I audible?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, what we are seeing across industries, and that people are tending to move to cloud, but in some industries where security is a bigger concern, like banks, government, they are taking longer, but they're still debating. They're at least talking about moving to the private cloud. So we are seeing a lot of those opportunities coming up in the market. MSME is really moving to cloud much faster because it offers scalability and elasticity.
No, we discussed, I think, MSME adoption of technology is on a fast track now.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah.
absolutely. And coming to data, as you're saying that, I really believe, and we've seen with our experience, that unless we really analyze the type of data which we are going to attack, and we also spot what is the structured and what is the type of unstructured data I have in my ecosystem, and what is the outcome I need to have. The automation of processes doesn't yield the right results. The basics of that, unless I create a process diagram, but I also create a data flow diagram, the basics of that SDLC. But if I just apply that to the thought process which is going on today about data, unless I understand the data, I should not initiate automation. That's what I believe in, and we have seen that. Now, coming to converging cloud and data, and basically if cloud offers me elasticity and I can bring my data there, and very important to understand that the scale of AI, that with what I learn, start with. Do I start with the level 1 of AI and then move to generative AI, or should I jump to generative AI? As Gartner has also seen, and we also seen in our day-to-day practices, 85% of the AI projects are failing. We are not getting the required accuracy. Companies are struggling. They're talking AI, but not
But in
achieving
your opinion,
the results.
what should be the right strategy in terms of adoption? Should it be really linear, stepwise? Or I say generative AI is there, let me jump to that level straight away and whatever it takes for me to do it. Yeah.
We can jump, but I think it's very important, as we said, the Japanese technique, that spend more time in planning and understanding.
Okay, the purpose has to be understood.
Exactly. The
I was
methodology makes.
alluding to getting your use case right. I think it has to be very, very business centric. You will have to have the purpose very clearly defined. What is it that you're trying to, your problem statement has to be very clear is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Anuj?
So we are from the line of business that does a lot of analytics. And we use a lot of AI. Now let's take a step back and how it started off in a big way. Post-COVID or during COVID, the world realized that cloud is my penultimate place to work on. So everybody rushed towards cloud. This was followed by automation that every industry was doing, including ours. So as soon as COVID ended up, all the Microsofts and Googles of the world pushed towards AI and ML because that was the momentum which was going on. So let's add up to that. And that's how this all cognitive and generative AI story started off. Now, how do we leverage that? Let me give an example. All the analytics boil down to either predictive or prescriptive analytics. Predictive is when I predict what's going to happen, and prescriptive is what is to be done to stop it or gain it. Now, we used to get problem statements like what will be the financial statements or financial growth for, say, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and so on and so forth. Plethora of data, structured, unstructured, you churn them out, you get the output. Now, what we do post this era or during this era of AI and ML, My output has changed now. Instead of me giving them quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, I leverage them with an option to ask question. Ask question, hey, if I reduce my sales or if I reduce my price by X amount, what will be the impact? If I do this, what will be the impact? So now it is not bounded by question and answer. It is bounded by the fact that I have the liberty to ask questions,
Yeah.
drill down, and get the output out.
So a lot more of deeper insights,
Absolutely. Right.
right, which was never possible earlier.
That was never possible. Earlier.
Never possible.
It used to be a question, a problem statement, and an output.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. Vishwa, how is it changing in your?
Yeah, definitely. I think the good part is that we are 100% cloud-enabled company from day one. So we are working very hugely on cloud, and we are seeing lots of advantage of that. Especially talk about the AI and all. Lots of trends we have also noticed in the customer acceptability also. Now customer is also asking that you should leverage AI and all, because they also want to extract the value out of the AI. Now they are trusting also, because trusting on the AI output is the right algorithm we are using and so on. So primarily what we are using AI especially for the improving our operations, especially for automation, lots of things. Because I manage IT and security operations in my organization, especially cloud operations. So we are doing a lots of automation using AI, lots of process automation. And obviously we are taking for our own as well as a board or customer as well, we are taking a good insight of the data to taking the informed decision. Okay. And my suggestion is that primarily we should always, like we talked about the use case. So use case is important. If you know that what problem you are going to solve, what is the customer expectation, what you want to drive out of it, then probably you can build your strategy. It's not going to be a isolated model that you'll create one model and keep it aside. Okay. And you'll have to have that strategy in along.
Okay. I go to Imran now. Imran, you have heard from all the customers here on how they are looking at these technologies and how they have deployed these technologies and leveraging these technologies for business value and so on. What is Breyo's perspective with your, with your customers? You have been talking to customers. Yeah. What is your take on this?
Yeah, so please pardon me for my throat.
Yeah, I think he's got a throat problem. So
sorry for that. So basically, when we are talking to customers, right, everybody wants to get and leverage AI and all. But as we said, like the process, what the friend here on the panel said, we have to define a process. First of all, the AI is only possible when you have a right set of data available in the organization. A lot of Indian companies, they don't know what kind of data they have. Like as at Brio, we believe that the data is water, it has to be clean. So they do have data, but it is not in the way where we can get insight from it. And they wanted to, one of the things that normally people do mistake, particularly when they come to us, we try to give them a plan. They actually do things in silos, or they don't have a full blueprint, or they set some unrealistic use cases to start in the process. So that's what we at Brio, we wanted to make sure that try to identify a use case intelligently so that you get you able to measure the success criteria of that. Okay. The use case, selecting of use case is very important. Yeah. And I don't know, is not, first of all, one more thing that you have to make sure is like you have to start, if you want to leverage data, if you want to bring that AI to the business, make it a business differentiator. So you make sure that you start collecting data everywhere. Don't see that this data will not be used or something. So you have all the data. I'll give you a simple example. Like there is a Harvard or a Stanford, I don't remember which, the Indian company, Asian Paints, for example, there is a case study mentioned in about Asian Paint. Asian Paint is one of the companies who has imported first computer in India. Yeah. So they started digitalizing everything, and they have enough data to do the prediction. So now in the particular paint in their industry, the actual cost of the warehousing and this all that, like to transport from one place to other and to predict the demand and all is approximately equal to 40% of the actual price of the MRP of the product. Okay. But whereas since they have the data from the start and they have digitally focused from the beginning, they were able to reduce that cost to 6%. So that's how it is. So basically, everybody can leverage from data, and cloud and AI and data is basically, cloud is enabling that AI revolution now.
Yeah.
If you do not have a cloud, I think AI is
Absolutely.
definitely going to take some time, because these GPUs that we talk about, these LLM models that we are talking about, like Llama 2, for example, a 70 billion parameter model, that has, in order to train that model for I think for a 12 days or 2 weeks of matter, I mean about a similar time, it has cost Meta about $1.2 million.
Yeah.
So I mean that would have not been happened without when we don't have the scale of that. So for companies like of our size, so we basically leverage from those models and build on top of it. You fine tune to your own use cases. That's a way
Okay.
to go forward, I would say.
Let's do a little bit of double click on the cloud. If the cloud model actually started about 10 years ago, right, there were a lot of concerns, apprehensions on cloud security. What would happen to my data? And I guess it was more of a mindset kind of an issue, right? There was something like, my wife buys jewels, Anju, and the first thing she does is she will not even show it to me. The first thing, she will run to the bank and then deposit in the bank deposit locker. So as far as jewels are concerned, you are very, you feel confident of having it outside the four walls of your house. Whereas when it came to data, it was the opposite. We never wanted to have that outside the four walls of our house. So that mindset has changed now. Customers have all adopted, I think today, a hybrid cloud and a multi-cloud. And is cloud becoming the innovation hub and the innovation platform? A general question to all of you all, right? Anyone can take this. Anything new that you come up in the organization, the first thing that you look at is, I will now put it on the cloud, and it could be for various reasons. You could do it in a very accelerated manner. You want to deliver value as quickly as possible. How is this being viewed in your respective, how do you see it panning out, is my question.
If I may.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead, shoot.
So before we talk about the multi-cloud, I would like to touch upon the discussion that we were earlier having, where Imran concluded. So Gen AI can be used even by small players. You don't have to be a multi-billionaire or multi-billion corporation to use Gen AI. You just have to find the right use case. Don't try to build a whole product out of it. Try to build small features in your product out of it. So like a small startup like HexaHealth, we have already started using Gen AI. And so there are certain use cases where it works fairly well. It depends on what kind of data that you have and what kind of insights that you want to derive out of it. So we have a chatbot live built using Google's Gen AI framework. It's called Vertex AI. That's the framework that they have, which works on top of the Google Cloud. And it's fairly simple to get it live, take it live. You just have to add the right data sources. You don't even have to manipulate the data too much or transform the data too much. It's almost like plug and play for the POC. But once you want to build a product which is like should be able to use by a large segment of users, then you have to make some adjustments, fine tune it a little bit. But that's about it. You can have a working prototype working simple product like a support bot in a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
Now coming back to the multi-cloud.
Yeah.
So now the choice of cloud depends on multiple factors. So some people may have a certain history with the cloud because they have resources that are comfortable with one cloud. Let's say people might be comfortable with AWS more than Google. Like some people, those who are older people, they have been using AWS even before GCP was there. So they might prefer AWS. Some might prefer Google Cloud, maybe small startups where they get benefits, startup benefits from the startup programs from Google. So they might prefer GCP. But some may even go for Azure because it's already, the Microsoft ecosystem is already so strong. Distributors are there, the support network is very good.
Yeah.
So people might have different reasons to choose different clouds.
Yeah.
And you might also want to do a mix and match based on your use cases. Like we use AWS for pretty much everything other than AI, Gen AI. For Gen AI, we use Google.
Yeah, okay. Now, as a follow-up, Anuj, is how do you see that panning out amongst customers, right, in terms of cloud? Is cloud the de facto computing model? And if I make the statement, I'm just playing a devil's advocate here. I'm saying the next 3 years, you will have no data centers, on-prem will not be there. Everything is going to be on the cloud. Is that the right statement?
No, that's not the right statement. There will be presence on-premise, but minimal. You see,
And of course, there are regulated industries, you know,
Absolutely.
the BFSI and all that, yeah.
see the mindset that has to change is that I'm not going to go to cloud to save a couple of bucks. That's mistake number one. And the second problem
So what is the top reason that customers look at moving to the cloud?
availability. Availability.
Availability.
See, when COVID happened, why the boom of cloud started?
Is
off?
it only
Because
availability or?
the first factor is availability, always availability. I have a choice.
No, I'll take a different view of that. I go to the cloud, it is because for me it is a service apartment. A service apartment which is stocked with everything. It has got groceries, it has got all the refrigerator, everything is there. Even groceries are kept. So all I have to do is go start cooking my application.
Even if in IT everything is there in a house, but it is not serving you, it's as good as having nothing.
Okay.
Number two, when we are adopting cloud, be very sure of compliances. Because we don't bother about compliances and legal and statutory stuffs when we are doing on-premise. So be very sure about compliances.
Yeah. Okay. Imran, my thing is on this.
Yeah.
On the hybrid cloud, how is Brio helping customers in managing this multi-cloud, hybrid cloud? You know, you have multiple architectures, and I will combine this thing of also that security and compliance is also something which is very close, very dear to the technology leaders, and they are responsible for it. How do you help your customers?
See, first of all, the point is like always the truth is between black and white. So gray is what it is. So the thing is, it'll be a multi-cloud and it will be a hybrid cloud. The world future of technology will be hybrid and also multi-cloud. Every cloud has its own advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons. Based on like my friend has told already that they are using AWS, but for Gen AI use cases or UI cases, they are actually using Google, right? GCP for that matter. So similarly, based on your use case, you can choose the appropriate cloud. Coming back to compliance and security, which is very paramount, and security has become very paramount when you have this hybrid model come into play or multi-cloud, right? So we as a technology consulting partner to any organization, we basically start, compliance and security is very paramount, and we provide the service end to end to all our customers. Saying that we have a specific, SOC division where we talk about like security services and stuff like that. So we'll ensure that everything is done end to end, and security definitely, compliance and become very paramount. And just want to add one more thing. In that, like now somebody was talking earlier in the discussion today, like every company is going to become a IT company or this thing. But I think the future is every company will become an AI company, because more or less you're not trying to create new technologies, new LLMs for the matter, but you definitely fine-tuning them for your own individual use cases, individual business vertical, be it the healthcare, be it the transportation or logistics and some. So every company in future, maybe I think in the very near future, maybe in this decade, we probably see that drastic shift, because the AI and bringing this fine-tuning these models will be dirt cheap, because you don't have to reinvent, you have to just put a fine-tuning layer on top of it. That's it. Like you just have to do a RAG or fine-tune. There are two options that you have, so you can do any of those to create those use cases for your own business and for your own industry.
The last question to Anju. No discussion today or no event like this ends without a discussion on data privacy. And India's kind of just stepped into that data privacy kind of a thing with the DPDP law which has been passed, right? While in Europe you have GDPR and all that. How do you see that, are customers now aware of this? Any actions being taken? Some views on that.
I think awareness about data privacy in India is still at a nascent stage. And to the extent that, as individuals also we share our mobile numbers, email so easily without realizing. I know there's so much of WhatsApp University guiding us, to manage our personal data. But if I just look at our European customers or American customers and the GDPR, the laws, the way they are implementing versus the way we see it as data privacy is very different.
Okay.
Exposure is improving because a lot of our companies are serving US and European customers, so they are governed by those laws. Secondly, the way Indian government has drafted the Data Privacy Act is hats off to them. They've really taken the best of the California Act as well as the GDPR Act.
Okay.
And what is coming out here is that consciously, for example, the first thing which they said that the data which is related with Indian people has to be located in India.
Yeah.
That's the big thing which they have changed.
Okay.
It's another thing is, I think, as all of us, as the companies, we have to be conscious of and the trainings which companies are doing on ISMS, cautioning them. I think it will catch up in next 12 months. I foresee a lot of
So I was
positive
saying in
change.
my opening keynote that in the next 12 months, organizations will have a role. Absolutely.
You can't live without privacy, or
Yeah.
you can't survive without it. So company who take data security and privacy as a very seriously they will definitely have a competitive advantage over those companies those don't
I
take.
just
Absolutely.
end with 3 words. Design for data privacy, actually 4 words.
Yeah.
So we have to design for data
Correct.
privacy.
We have to design for, we
and
have to
AI
embed.
has to be has to be a conscious player.
We have to embed that in the development process itself. We had DevOps, we embedded security, it became DevSecOps. Now you will have to embed even privacy into that now, right? So I think we have completely run out of time. Thank you very much for your insights. But before we close, just a small request. Can you raise your hands like this and keep like this? Everyone? The speakers, I'm saying. You must be wondering what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to take a vow on behalf of all the speakers that whatever views and thoughts that were expressed were completely the views of the speakers. Nothing was lifted from ChatGPT. Thank you very much. So can we give a round of applause for all the speakers, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all the panelists. Can I request our lovely hostess to come up on stage with the planters? And I would request a moderator for the session, Mr. Venkatesh Natarajan, to kindly give the planters
Yeah, sure.
to all the panelists.
You want me to carry or okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We would once again like to thank Mr.
Thank you,
Anuj Joshi, Mr. Kuldeep Tomar, Ms. Anju Tandon,
Thank you.
Mr. Jitesh Kumar, Mr. Vishwajit Singh, and Mr. Imran Syed.
Thank you, Kuldeep. Thank you, Vishwa. Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Once again, let's have a round of applause for this amazing panel.